So thank you, Steve, and everybody from Video Post for having me. Like Steve said, usually we'll get a call. Just this week, we got a call on Monday from Live Nation. A lot of the concert promoters are actually down with their shows because they thought that it would be forever the same way it was last year. And things are not the same for shows. There's a lot of live music offering. Tickets are very expensive, and they're not doing the planning as bespoke as they should be doing it. They're just clicking, they're overwhelmed, and now they're calling, people like us to solve some of these issues. But what I'm going to present right now is not it's not a Live Nation concert thing. It's just a case study for Mike Towers, which is a Warner Music Latina recording artist. We had to do a takeover in Times Square, and what the client wanted was basically people were going to be told on social media to amplify this that there was going to be a takeover in Times Square. They had a bunch of influencers show up over there. So we created the path, right? We had the subway, people going to the subway, and then when they get inside the subway or out, from the outside, you'll see lyrics of the songs. So we had it both facing the stairs and the outside. These are from out front. And then, of course, when they get to Times Square, we had a takeover. We had about 10 digital screens. Mike Towers is the guy with the glasses there, and the bandana has got this name on, right below. That's part of his video. The album's called Pantera Negra. We also had 65% of all the taxi tops in Times Square doing the takeover time, which was about an hour. So we got 100% SOV from 65% of them. And the company that was just acquired, I forgot the name, but the new owners are from Mexico, actually. It's called Grupo Vallas, and they have a brand new name. I think it's Somo over here, right, Somo? So they got bought out by an Argentinian CEO of Grupo Vallas, which is a Mexican company. And we had all those taxi tops. We also had a lot of digital projections in places that were trending the night before, like the Guggenheim. These were all guerrilla. We did in Los Angeles simultaneously. We did this. He was performing that night at the Dolby Theater, Mike Towers, and they needed a solution of having advertising immediately done the night of the show because they needed to do something. We had, I think, maybe some LED trucks, and we had this also going on, all these projections. These are all Los Angeles. That's the amount of impressions we had for the digital guerrilla projections. We did Miami. That's the Kaseya Center. It's all Miami. And then this is the recap of that little campaign. Those are the 10 screens. Those are the brand new ones from out front on the Grand Slam. That's the Cube. It's out front as well. We had basically the entire north end of the Times Square. We had the TSX screen. I think about 500 people showed up for the activation with the influencers and everything. They did social media content. We don't do that part of the activation. These are from Clear Channel. So I'm just going to skip that because I think it's 3 videos. So we had a total of 23,500,000 impressions. Most of those impressions were driven by the taxis for the full week after. We had the 100% SOV from the 65%, and then we had a very large SOV for the remaining of the week. Amber alert. So this is a Fade global campaign. Fade is a recording artist from Universal Music. And this particular single and then album was with Rima. I don't know if you know Rima from Selena Gomez's song, Calm Down. That was a really popular song around the world. So that's the same Rima guy. This is in Japan. The previous one in London was Holland Park, the Westfield. It's a really good screen and location. We had all this takeover in Shibuya. And this is in Melbourne, Australia. And this is in New York. We also did the taxi tops for them. It started getting very popular doing the taxi tops for music. Once we started using them, they really loved it because it's really easy to just have 100% SOV, and there's just so many cabs in New York that it's just overwhelming. Every single cab is showing your ad. We also had the cube for this campaign. This is in Accra in Africa, in the country of Ghana, from Alliance Media. Sydney, I think this was from Billboard's Australia. And then in Lagos, in this, what is it, Kenya, I think? Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria, we had this huge mall. And in Paris, we had from Exterior Media, we had all the peripheral for cars, the freeways, basically. And then this is another campaign we did for Danna. Danna is a Mexican pop star. We did this in Bogota. That's a mall. It's like a, I don't know, Macy's mall or something like that. We did Santiago de Chile with some, this is digital. This is all digital, by the way. It's a little video. I'll just skip that. We did Madrid with JC Deku. So that's just the real thing. Lima, Peru. Buenos Aires, Argentina. This is in Obelisco. It's one of our favorite screens from our partners in Atacama. You know the obelisk in Argentina? That's where they celebrate the World Cup, and when they win, everybody goes there and celebrates. So it's a very busy area with a lot of young people, business people, and we like using this screen because it has that shot. When we do a drone shot from far away, you get the obelisk, and we have the screen. And we like using these type of screens for placement. We like to have a really beautiful photo because the artist needs to have that, boost, that it goes on social media. They really like having a scenery with their screens. This is for the album that Danna released because the previous was for the tour, but it was linked to the album release, which was Child Star. This is in Las Vegas. This is, I think, from our friends at Branded Cities. We had the Harmon Corner. And this is in Mexico City. This is one of my favorite products in Mexico City. This is the subway system. So they have these tiny TVs on top of where you get on the train, and they play music. So it's captivating for the people. It gets their attention, and I think it's like every spot's like lasts 14 days by contract. So it's a good duration as well. In Los Angeles, this is one of our favorite screens for Mexican, like Hispanic audiences, the Citadel Outlets. It's a multicultural audience mall, but the traffic there on the 5 is always just so slow that people will see your ad no matter what. And the loop is really long. It's about 5 minutes continuous spot, nonstop, instead of just looping 8 seconds like all the other freeway units, because this location has 4 screens in a row. The Caltrans and the Department of Transportation didn't allow them to have such changing frequency because it would be too distracting. So it gives you a really long loop when you're there. I really like that. People will get your message. So right now, we have a deal with a store called Curaçao. We brought the talent for them. We do all their talent relations. And part of the campaign is we got her perfume put into stores, and we're using digital out of home to try to drive more people to the store. So we activated the same Citadel. We did a takeover on the screens, and we have people texting that number. And this event is happening October 23rd. Chiquis will be signing albums. We put her perfume in the stores. So it's a big deal. She's got about 6 million followers. She's the daughter of a very former Mexican diva singer, and she's crafting her own path right now. So what's coming up next for us as far as all these music campaigns that are currently happening continuously? Last year, like Steve said, we did over 150 campaigns in advertising worldwide. It was about 162 to be exact, or 165, something like that. And this year, I think we're not on track to beat that record. I think the touring we had a lot more touring marketing doing like last year. This year, they're calling me for the touring marketing a little bit later. I think that's decreasing the amount of campaigns we're doing. We did get ACA mentioned in the Inc. 5000 magazine, the list this year, and we placed in 579 out of 5,000 nationwide, so we're happy about that. So with Latin Grammys coming up in Miami, Latin Billboards is next week, the week after, and then Latin Grammys in Miami. So it's a big deal. It's like having Art Basel in Miami. It's super, super busy. It gets crazy. Everybody in the industry will be in the city. And we are doing all the advertising for Universal Music and for Warner Music around Latin Grammys. So this is some of the elements. It's some of our clients. I won't disclose which ones because they might be watching and this is still not happening. But these are some of the elements that some of them have contracted. I won't be specific on which one. We're going to have a bunch of digital billboards leaving from the airport, going towards the event centers and the hotels in downtown. We're going to have trolleys. These are going to be wrapped in branding from the nominees. We're going to have, of course, digital bus shelters that are ubiquitous by Outfront. They're everywhere. So I think there's about 80 that we can grab, and we're going to have all of these running the campaigns. We're going to have some trucks, or one of our best partners, which is actually Jonathan, who's one of their sponsors here from LED Truck Media. We've been working a lot with Jonathan, and we've had always really good experiences with their drivers and their equipment. So it's really popular with concert promotion and music promotion when we use these, because they also have speakers and we can play some music which will draw attention to the truck. This is actually some of the stuff that's how effective they are. This is another one in Vegas that we do. We're going to have those in Latin Grammys as well. This is one of the billboards right next to Kaseya Center that we're going to be grabbing for the Latin Grammys. This is a brand new screen by Orange Barrel Media. They just acquired this one. It's at the PAM, which is the Perez Art Museum of Miami. It's very expensive, honestly. It hurts every time I have to buy it. It's like, oh my God, it's so much money. But it's a beautiful, beautiful screen. It's double-sided. So this is what people that are going to Latin Grammys for the Person of the Year award will be seeing when they arrive. So it's a really big night. Person of the Year, they have to arrive to the Perez Art Museum to go to this event. And the actual award, the big show, the telecast, will be at the Kaseya Center. That's why we're covering the Kaseya Center. So the coverage of Latin Grammys of what we're going to give the client is coverage from the airport for all the arrivals, not inside the airport because it's for our budgets, it's very constraining. We cannot afford it. But then everything outside, we take over. So the experience of the users and all the people that are arriving to this thing are going to be seeing their publicity everywhere. So they'll have the billboards. When they get off the freeway, they'll see the bus shelters. When they get around to the venues that they need to be attending, they're going to be advertising. So that's how we're going to be taking over Miami for Latin Grammys. We're going to be running this, which is not digital, but an airplane banner. This is from Universal from last year. We're also going to have the people movers, which are free in Miami. People love using these to get into the events. You can also take over the stations, but we're taking over the movers because it gives us more impressive signage outside moving around the city, all around the Grammys. Of course, we're going to have the digital boats because Kaseya is next to the water. So we're going to have the digital LED boats. This particular campaign that you see on screen is actually for the most successful Mexican artist right now in terms of popularity in music streaming. It's Peso Pluma. He's super nominated. He's breaking all the records. He's collaborating with everybody. He's really exciting. We did his campaign last year, and that was really impressive. I actually presented that earlier this year at Media Post in Scottsdale, his case study with his video, which is really cool. So the projected impressions for this Latin Grammy takeover in Miami are lower than what you see in New York. It's not just the density, but it's also their higher tier, targeting. It's more expensive targeting. So we have less impressions, but they're much higher in cost. So that's about it that I have. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Yeah. Sean, as always, that was great.
Thank you.
Very cool stuff. You have questions for Sean?
In this sense, I assume, especially because you're talking share of voice and all these different things, most of this you're buying direct, correct? You're going direct to the media owners, or are you buying maybe the taxi tops you said was 100%. Are you doing any of it programmatically? Are you doing any of it through omni-channel? Or are you more going direct to media owners and doing it in-house?
Most of the things, thank you for your question, most of the things are direct. I am using programmatic depending on the solution the client needs. So it's also depending on their budget. When I buy direct, I get a very, very low CPM. I can get from $2 to $4, which is amazing, and especially in those markets. You know, I don't think I ever go over 6, really. But that's just because I think the relationships that we have with every one of our vendors, the modest volume that we handle, and they the guys there like me, and I think that's why we get really good CPMs, to be honest. Because if it was anybody else, it would probably be $20, really. But we do mix, we do a hybrid, we do combinations. So beauty shots are extremely important for our artists. There is, if there's no beauty shot, really the campaign never happened. They don't care for webcams, they hate them. So we always have an internal team of photographers that captures the one screen that we buy to show them a photo, and here's the amazing shot. And then if we need to be in a lot of spots because of what we're trying to achieve, we'll buy programmatic, sometimes digital direct in the case of Outfront. Other stuff are programmatic, but we don't use an omni-channel. I've had the support of ODN that we met here at Media Post the other time. I've used them to help me some stuff, like, hey, can you help me place this? And they'll place it for me. But most of the time we're doing something direct, or I ask someone to do the programmatic for us, and we'll do a hybrid combination for the campaign. Thank you.
What behaviors are you driving where you're able to, and how are you able to attribute it to out of home? So for instance, there's that tie-in when you have certain cases where you're really driving a particular behavior and interaction with the screen. Are you downstream, are you seeing things like playlist subscribes or playlist plays on Spotify, or any direct interactions in cases where you're asking people to text?
We are driving, we want people to stream, right? So there's different methods in some campaigns, like the ones that we did in Times Square. That's a lot of perception and branding, right? It's really big branding. So fans of the artist are gonna be seeing this, and they're interested in that already, so they go. But we've done a lot of campaigns that are very smart, that will put some very mysterious text on a bus shelter, like, John, I know what you did. Here are the photos. And there's a QR code, and we're like, whoa, what did John do? Who is this guy? And then we have a bunch of names, women's names and male names. And people scan it, and then they go to the song. It's the landing page of the artist, and it has a song that is somewhat related to what the lyrics or the question says on the billboard. So that's how we drive some of this traffic, and we're capturing people to go to the landing page to stream. So there's a lot of awareness. Sometimes people don't know the artist, and they'll see it, and they'll be interested. But a lot of times we're driving to that same consumer or similar interest artist that they maybe follow one, but we want them to follow the other one. Something that is not here, that's not digital out of home, that is very effective, is we track taco truck locations, believe it or not, through Twitter or Threads or Facebook or Instagram, and we do graffiti where people gather to eat. So we'll put a QR code on our stencil on the floor, so people are eating and they're looking at the ad for a long time, and they get curious and they scan through that, and they go stream the song. So those are some stuff that are really effective, how to really drive people to engage, because it's not that easy. If you're looking at an ad and you're not familiar with the artist, it will probably be of no interest to you. But if you're at least, like, if you're Hispanic and Latino and you like Latin music and you see a similar artist, that might draw your attention. Especially those lyric or John, I know what you did. Those are really, really good campaigns.
I am already programming a Graffiti Insider Summit just off of that idea. That one was brilliant. Sean, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Great to have you back.
Thank you.